Everybody?
Hello.
Hello, mate.
So we're live now. I just had to rush from a webinar on accounts-based marketing. So welcome to everybody. Today you've got your I've worked out how to put names up on your pictures. We had a
that's true.
So welcome everybody. If you're out there, we're running the digital download. And we're going to talk about things that we learned this week. And we love a debate. So if you've got any questions, please ask any questions. Just put them in the comments on LinkedIn. Before we get into it, do you want to introduce yourselves? Eric, do you want to go first?
Hi, I'm Eric. What do you want me to say, Tim?
Well, what do you do? What's your role?
My role this morning was a rolling bacon, but I'm a social selling coach. I run a company called Crux, and I'm an associate of DLA, and we help management teams move from analog to digital.
Adam.
Hello, everybody. I'm Adam Gray. I'm Tim's business partner, one of the founders of DLA, and yeah, well, the same as Eric, really. We help organizations transform to become social organizations and help coach the individuals to embrace social and be their most authentic and best selves.
Beautifully put.
Mike?
Hi, everybody. Mike Garrison. I do everything that Eric and Adam do, just not as well. And I'm shorter. But seriously, I'm a social selling coach and social media consultant. My deep specialty is working with professional services firms, helping them transition from referral-based analog to digital dominance on social.
And Thomas, last but not least.
Yes, well, thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Thomas Ross. I'm a founder of Social Sales HQ, and we, like everybody else, do social sales training, and we also do digital transformations and workshops for organizations.
And welcome, Nick. Good to see you tuned in. Thank you very much.
Hi, Nick.
Nick sent me a DM. He actually went and bought the, I think it was the Audible copy of my book. So thank you, Nick.
Cool.
So who wants to go first? Who wants to go talk about what they've learned, or a report, or what do you want to do? Who wants? Is
it open season? Can we talk about anything?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, you can talk about your bird in your box. By the way, Lenwood sends his apologies because he's got next week off.
The problem. What bird in what box?
You weren't here, were you? His daughter.
You missed that.
Oh yeah, we had 20 minutes on the fact that his daughter basically found this bird and it had broken its wings, so they didn't know what to do. So they actually went on the internet to look at what you do when birds break the wing, and so they put it in the box and had to heat the box a bit, and got the American equivalent of the RSPCA or whatever. So
outstanding. No,
yeah,
I was halfway down the motorway towing a caravan to St Andrews.
It was cool. Everybody was going. Tell us about what you calling the bird? What you calling the bird? What you calling the bird?
Well, I wouldn't mind talking about an experience I had talking to a few sales leaders this week. If we can do that, there was a really.
Do you want to go first, Gary? Could you want to let?
Thomas? Oh no, it's carry on, Thomas. It's all yours.
Sorry about that. But I had a really interesting call with a number of sales leaders, and they were reaching out to me, and I don't know why this week versus any other, but it was really very interesting in that they all told me something very similar. They may have used different words, but in the end it was the same. They've all told me they've become telemarketers, which I thought was really interesting, and I thought that would be a good discussion. And so I'm writing an article on that, of course, because it really hit a hot button for me.
So why have they done that, Thomas?
Well, they haven't done it on purpose. They've done it because they feel like they don't have any other choice.
Okay.
Right?
So they don't know what they don't know.
What was that?
They don't know what they don't know.
I think they do know what they don't know in this particular case, but they're not being given the opportunity from many of the organizations that they represent,
right,
to upscale and improve and retool in a way that would be effective. So they're doing, and they can't go out and see people, or haven't been able to. They can't do the luncheons. They can't do the many of the events that they would build leads up and opportunities. So they become telemarketers. And they feel like they better upscale their skills now. So some of them are reaching out to me to ask how I can help them individually.
Is that to get digital skills, reaching out to you, Thomas?
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was really interesting.
Is there a possibility, Thomas, that they were always closet digital telemarketers, and now it's just a bit more underlined?
Is it a comfort zone?
Are they now only just complaining about it after 25 years of being it?
Well, I don't know. I think they always had ways of making things work, whether it was going out to the golf course and getting leads there, or at the luncheon, or at the trade show, or everywhere else. And now they're stuck in their homes making phone calls, and they're pestering all their best friends and their buddies for referrals, or even their customers. Now those calls aren't being returned, so they're having a heck of a time. So I just thought it was really interesting to hear that directly from the source.
You know, that's interesting, Thomas, because it really highlights the difference between what's successful offline and online. Like, it's always been, are you a taker or are you a giver, right? And so people that have a transactional mindset about how they acquire business, whether it's an individual solo entrepreneur or a large continent conglomerate, if you're a taker, you got a problem when people move platforms and people move to different places, because no longer can you do the easy stuff. And I think one of the things you highlighted was that golf course analogy. You know, so often people think that to get enough business, you just have to be at the golf course with your friends. And it's the same thing on social. We see this all the time, right, Eric? All over social. Hey, how come it's not working? How come I still have to send all these emails? And you have to have strategy and be intentional. And so it's the same problems that people have with having enough time to play golf and hoping they get referrals. I called it Chicken Little marketing. You know, gee, I hope that these referrals just show up, but I can't forecast them. I can't predict them. It's the same problem we have over here on social, where you're basically just taking a cold calling mindset and doing it at scale.
Yeah. I've just got this, you know, that if you can imagine a scenario, there's a you know, Occam's razor and all of that. There's a possibility that it might have been done in the world, right? I just, you know the guys that were all about the golf course. I just wonder if at any point during lockdown or the pandemic, anyone set up an Xbox client golf walk around.
the people that did are too busy to talk about it. The people that did stuff, because that's the case, is people always say, well, how do you get so much business by referral? It's like, well, I'm not talking to you. That's how. I'm talking to the people that refer. I'm doing things on purpose. That's a brilliant idea, by the way. That is a brilliant
I like it too.
Yeah, let's set up an Xbox golf tournament, invite clients. So you've got 18 holes. We'll pick Augusta and we'll go and play Augusta, and we'll.
I love that. And I'll play my best game for sure.
Yeah, I'm always better online.
Oh, dear.
That is a great idea.
Yeah, Adam and I were once told that we didn't know how to sell. We were at a meeting with an organization, and they said, you guys don't get it, do you? What happens is very simple. We take people to the golf course, we play golf with them, and they sign. That's how our sales work.
That's great until it stops working. Then what do you do?
Yeah.
Well,
go to basketball.
So, Eric.
Yes, sir. A little bit of a stage left, because it's maybe not. It includes the world of sales and social and all of that, but it's a sort of wider topic. So it's been coming for a little while. I mentioned it on a previous. Where did I mention it? I don't know. Can't remember. I mentioned it somewhere else before, but for a few months now, maybe even longer, if I was to trace back the tail, I've been interested in this whole idea of conscious capitalism, conscious leadership. I think it's fabulous. So I've come to a little, Robert Johnson, meet me at the crossroads point, which we come to many times in our lives. And so lots of things just all seem to be aligning. I started reading, I went back into, I know you're into your vinyl, Tim, you love a bit of vinyl. So I like treating books the same way I treat vinyl. So I like to go back and pull out a book that I haven't read for a while, So I've gone and pulled some books. I had a little holiday recently, and I've gone back to the source, Unlimited Power with Tony Robbins. I absolutely adored this book, and it changed my life, or helped me to change it. I went back and read a little bit more about
read that one. Yeah.
a book that we all love, Find Your Why. I threw in a bit of the psychopath test with John Ronson there, just for a bit of fun, because that's a really fun book.
Pass?
I did. I passed. Thank you. a little bit of transactional analysis. I'm okay. You're okay.
Do you know? I read that when I was like 15 and 16.
Yeah. So going back and reading these old classics and trying to put them in a modern context. Yeah. But then this was the one that I won in Daniel Guzman's prize draw.
Oh yeah, and that's really, a Kogan Page book as well.
Oh man, it's a Kogan Page book. It's a book that just smacks you between the eyes. It's one of those that just leaves you standing, going, just dribbling, just thinking, what have I been missing? So all of that, plus a lot of really inspirational leaders out there. I did a podcast with a guy called Chris West, who's the CEO of a company called Optimus. 40-year-old CEO of an 80-strong company, an engineering company, not the biggest company in the world, but there's a CEO, 40 years old, questioning that he should maybe be doing a little bit more about purpose in his organization. Yes, of course, he has shareholders to provide.
Isn't it written like a novel?
Hi, Sam.
This one written like a novel?
Yeah.
Parts of it, yes.
Okay.
Parts of it. Parts of it are educational. Parts of it are kind of novel-like. So this whole thing about conscious leadership and leading with purpose, business for purpose. So leading back, I guess, to encompassing the whole Edelman Trust Report thing about what businesses want to, or people want to see CEOs and businesses tuned into, local community issues, societal issues, pandemic issues, environmental stuff, and all of that. So there's something bubbling. I can't put my finger right on it right now, but there's an undercurrent or a sort of swelling of interest in this whole, we've all got our heads down. We're all dealing with problems. We're all dealing with delivery, sales, marketing, whatever it might be. There are a lot of people in the world looking up and saying, I think there's maybe a little bit more to this hamster wheel. And I like that.
Just saying hi to Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Sam got me into Restream, so I need to thanks, Sam. Eric, I totally agree, and I've been doing some analysis of CEOs that are advanced on social media, and it's just amazing how they have an ability to talk on these issues directly to their following or to the people. So if you think, how do I get all of my shareholders, stakeholders, investors, employees, future employees, future investors, how do I drive them to be in one building at one place and deliver a controlled message?
Yeah.
You put your CEO on social media.
Yeah, you put your CEO on social media and you get them talking eloquently and with some vulnerability about topics that are front of mind of most people in the world.
But the old PR thing was that as soon as you put them on social media, you don't have control, but you do have control.
Yeah,
you have more because you have control, and you're able to talk to, because you can't send a press release out to every single investor and every single potential employee and every single employee. You just can't do that.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so if the conundrum is, I am that leader and I want to be that person and I want to have that voice and I want people to see that I've got this sense of purpose about local community and the bigger environment and international political issues and all of that. Yeah, how do you do it? You're not going to do it in a local newspaper.
No. And we all know that with any leadership things, it has to be done in a timely manner.
And
so you've got Julie Sweet, who is the CEO of Essentia. They've got, I think it's about 26,000 employees in India. The day that it was announced that there was a problem in India around COVID, she was able to put a message out on social media about the fact that they were donating millions of pounds to the Indian COVID relief.
And it didn't have to wait until June's newsletter came out.
No, or the annual accounts or anything like that. And of course, what happened is that they don't have very many socially aware people in Essentia, but some of them echoed it out. So I think she's got 123,000 or something like followers.
Crikey.
you know, she's able to talk to an audience in a timely manner.
Yeah, instantly.
Instantly. And Bernard Looney from the CEO of BP, you know, the day after Capitol Hill was had the problems with the people marching on it, he was able to put a note out saying what his feelings were about it and
Correct.
what BP stood for in terms of that situation. It's so powerful.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. So yes, that was my. I don't think it's a learning from the week. I think it was just sort of underlined a little bit more and reinforced this week. Again, I'm only about halfway through this, but it is one of those that's already rising to the surface.
I'm going to get a copy.
Theodora Lau and Bradley Lamer, fantastic piece of work so far, and it's a real stop and make you think.
I finished this one this week.
Trusted leader.
And it's it was recommended by, I can't remember, one of the sales gurus that I'm connected to on Facebook.
Well, Adam?
No, he's not a sales guru. And it's written as a novel. So it's not like you need to do that, and it's written like a novel. It funnily enough, it's called Trusted Leader. So I'm going to summarize it now for you. You need to have trust in the organization. There you go.
You need to have trust in the organization. So I see your trust in the organization. I just want you to read it. I know I'm big in this. This isn't a book review, right? But this just thunked me between the eyes. See what I did there? Thunked me between the eyes. Hold on to just get a drink to just clear my throat.
Everybody out there, you've got to have you've got to have a catchphrase. Now,
or a branded cup.
Catchphrase.
Or a branded cup. Are we doing enough? Given the undeniable reality of global climate change and the inequality faced by millions of people every day, Beyond Good is a call to arms for business leaders to recognize how they can do well by doing good. So something in that.
I totally agree, Eric. Yes, Mike.
I read the book because Eric did that post about getting the book. And so I slammed it down because that's the only thing I'm good at is reading really fast. It's a fabulous book. Like anything, you gotta look for bias and things like that inside of the book. But here's the thing that people don't want to talk about. You can't buy trust. You can't, like, we're starting to see some backlash, at least in the States, of all these huge international corporations that employ basically slave labor in third world countries to produce their products, that have been talking about how incredibly socially conscious they are when it's only, in certain areas of the world, and they're horrible in other areas. And so I'd say that when you look at social, you need to be like that CEO that Eric was sharing with us, someone that has a integrity in their actions already. Otherwise, like just getting out there and saying whatever you think people want to hear is not going to be the best choice.
Because you're going to get called out on it, right?
Exactly.
We have ways of finding things out these days really quickly.
Yeah, Nike's getting smoked in the United States. Nike's getting smoked in the United States because they're not a good corporation. I mean, they've done horrible things in third world countries for decades to produce their sneakers, and yet they talk about how virtuous they are. That's just one example.
Can we just put in brackets just in case? Can we just put, or so you've read, Mike?
Yeah.
No, it's
Allegedly.
Allegedly, Mike. Allegedly.
It's not hard to find out. It's not hard.
Hold on. Their lawyers are on the phone.
Anyways, so the point being is
your show is canceled.
If you're going to talk about how great you are,
be great,
right? Because word of mouth and social is the world's greatest word of mouth marketing program that ever existed, because it's done at scale and it retains humanity when done well. It's very dangerous if you're irresponsible. So I wanted to shift to something. I want to see what you guys think about this.
Yeah.
The ability to envision and drive change is just as important as the ability to work with technology. And so when you look at that book, Beyond Good, which is incredible, I cried when I read some of this stuff.
Wow.
I realized just how terrible some things are done. It's just awful when you think about it. Leading change, that's what we're really talking about. Because if a CEO is watching this and he gets inspired by your friend Eric, if you're going to lead change, leading change is at least as important as technology. And when you look at professional service firms who, especially the smaller, small and regional companies that are trying to figure out how do we compete with, these huge companies, how do we do this? Social's the answer, right? To get on social and use social as a way to differentiate. I was just reading the Wall Street Journal today about how small business in the United States, I can't speak to the UK, but small business is having a incredibly awful time trying to find employees, right?
Right.
They're companies that are local, that care about their communities, that do good work, and they're getting destroyed by Amazon and other companies like that have now decided to really start compensating workers fairly, right? And so they're paying them great wages. You got to get on social, right? If you run it, if you're a director at an accounting firm or a law firm or a financial advisory firm, and you want to be able to get employees, if you want to compete, we need to get your story out there, not on a press release, but think about it, Eric. I shared that video with you about CrossFit Aberdeen, right, this morning. I'm on my social channels and I see something about Aberdeen, I see something about a local organization, and I feel like I'm connected to a city I've never been to. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Make yourself the employer of choice.
Yeah, awesome.
But it's interesting that obviously you got your book as a gift from Danielle. She did a post this morning that you might have seen about the percentage of people in different countries that check out the CEO, their social accounts, as part of their recruitment process.
Of course they do.
And at the low end of that, it's Germany with just over a third of people, but India being the highest, where 83% of people, and Brazil not far behind, kind of interrogate the CEO of the business to see whether or not they like what they see. And it's of course it's common sense. You know that this goes on because it's exactly what you would do. But the fact remains to see the actual stats of that being laid bare for you. It says an average of 60% of people do that. If you're not putting your right foot forward, or the right foot forward, if you're not appearing as you want to appear on social, you're hampering your ability to attract and retain the best staff, aren't you?
Yeah, I did see that post. I actually commented on it. I just never made the link there. It's a cracker actually, and such wildly different percentages on there in different countries.
Yeah, but I think the earlier point that you made, actually a friend of mine posted, and he works for a large German software company, which doesn't leave many. And
3 letters.
The particular part of it that he operates in is about sustainability and helping organizations be more sustainable in their behavior. I believe they produce some tools and some software that help organizations track things like their carbon emissions and whether or not they're recycling things and how they can reduce their plastics consumption and this kind of thing, so help organizations be better. And he shared an article saying that one of the key components of solar cells is linked to slave labor. And he said, for him, where his whole career is built around trying to make the world a better place by providing tools so large corporates can improve how they are, one of the fundamentals of that, i.e. the carbon footprint and how they generate power, is all of a sudden linked to slavery. And this cyclical, circular, I guess to a certain extent, the way commerce works, in order to be competitive, they end up doing things that are actually the converse of what they should be trying to do. And it does beg the question about whether or not corporates that, we're building solar panels and it's fantastic and it's for the good of the world, except for all the people that are in chains working in mines in the Democratic Republic of the Congo who, are actually digging out the raw materials for this. And
same thing with electric cars.
I saw whether it's true or not, I don't know, but it seemed to become from a reputable source, and it was a few months ago, so it may have changed now. But an article about car battery cells being nickel being mined in Canada, taken all the way to Norway on ships to be made into batteries, to be sent back to Canada to be put into cars. It's a bit bizarre, right? It's a bit mental.
It's the same story with the wood, softwood from Canada. It goes all over the world to be made into something else to be sold back into North America.
Yeah, I mean, it really is interesting. when I think looking at these things, and like I'm quoting from an MIT, that Sloan article that we all talked about, digital transformation has evolved. Here's what's new. What I really liked about the articles is it really talked about employee experience, not employee engagement where they just blanketly send stuff out, but employee experience. And I think that is a huge advantage for the smaller companies that are poised to really dominate in their market, to really understand that it's not just about how great the employee experience is, it's about sharing it. I was seeing one of your clients was posting about some fun stuff, Eric. I saw that on social, Cyberhawk, and they were talking about some fun stuff they had. And I was like, wow, this is different.
Mm-hmm. They did a great video of them all walking into the bar, stroking their beards.
Stroking their beards, yeah.
It seemed to be essential if you're a cool hipster drone pilot in America. You're going to have that baseball cap look and brown boots and the long beard. So, yeah, cool.
So I got a question for everybody, Tim.
Oh, no.
No, it's not about RFPs.
Okay. Is it about referrals?
It's not about referrals either.
Okay.
So you've got a lot of the information about social selling and about digital transformation being driven by very large, very prestigious consulting firms that use a lot of high-end B2B sales terms and marketing terms. We've got some folks on the line here, other than me, that have got years of experience helping other firms do a social transformation to be able to compete with some of these large organizations. And if you guys wouldn't mind, I would love to hear about how you were able to help that 80-person firm, Eric, right? Help them have the confidence to go into something that people perceive as this really intricate, complicated, high-end marketing space and dominate. How have we helped them bridge that gap?
Eric.
Okay, speaking from very recent experience, so working with a couple of clients right now who are tipping their toes in the early stages of social selling and coming from it, in a wide range of status, and I mean that in a nice way. I don't mean like extremely good at social or extremely poor at social. A wide range of experience and acceptability in themselves about what social media is. So everything from I'm all over 5 different platforms and I post regularly to I opened an account 10 years ago on LinkedIn. I posted once, I didn't like it, and I have 30 connections. So everything from that across that sphere. So how do you get everyone? So
what size organizations? Give us some idea in terms of size, in terms of either people or turnover.
The kind of 20-30 million turnover kind of company is the kind of sweet spot.
30, 35, $40 million turnover.
Yeah. So that's the kind of sweet spot for me. That's the companies that I seem to work well with and help them transform. So what we do is we set the baseline. We know that social is one of our things we talk about. The social is quite a noisy place. It's a merry-go-round of light and color and sound, and what we do is we just calm all of that down by just putting a blanket over it. We talk about putting arms around it and just slowing everything down. We apply a brake to that merry-go-round and allow people to step on, holding hands and step on by defining what they want to be. I've got a video coming out shortly about what do you really want to be famous for? Not in terms of what you sell, but what at your core as an individual do you want to be famous for? And I love asking that question to even the most novice person on social. What would you like to be famous for in this digital world? And you start to tease out, well, I want to be famous for X, Y, and Z. No, that's what you sell. What about, well, actually, I'm a really reliable person. I'm really into customer satisfaction. That's what gets me going. I want to be dependable. I want to be that person that's known as being dependable, or I want to be that kind of more rock star sort of maverick. That's what I would like to have coming across, like delivery through chaos, but I can deal with it all. I want to be that kind of person. Or once we've sorted all of what that is across the team, we can then apportion a coaching mechanism to each person to allow them to become those little butterflies from those little chrysalis. But it's about practice and confidence. But then there comes a point where you're like, we've got the training wheels on the bike. We've got to get you off and going. We've got to get you off and running. You're going to have a wobble. You're going to have a little, it's okay. This is about practice and repetition and just being there for each other. So what I've noticed, particularly this week with two main clients, is the joy that these people are finding. They've come into this, some of them really worried about it, but the joy they're finding in supporting each other. You know, that one of them got that, you know, it's not all about virality, but it's lovely when it happens. But one of them recently managed to get a viral post, and it came out of nowhere. But actually, when we dissected it on the one-to-one this week, it was a beautifully crafted piece of content that actually pulled in about a dozen groups towards this. It pulled in about a dozen groups. And this was all just done through, you know, just being open and being casual and dropping the shoulders. Where there was worry before, there's now confidence. And of course, that gives confidence to the team that we're marching forward together. So I've probably waffled on a whole.
No, that's really insightful, Eric. Thank you. That was really good. Thomas, have you got anything? Because I know you coach a lot of small businesses as well, don't you?
Sure. Small and mid, and you know, as Eric outlined, you know, when you are able to get that light bulb moment going off with the teams that you're training, and they can start to understand how this applies to them and what they can do, and then they do things that really do things, have results that they weren't expecting. That's great. But what I will say, in addition to that, and in conjunction with the conversation prior to that, is if you don't get the leadership on the team doing likewise, then those light bulbs soon dim. And you know, as you guys were talking about some of these leaders doing good and bad and ugly on social, it got me to thinking how many of the leaders that I talk to on a daily basis are actually out on social and are actually getting their message or the message of the company or their personal message or whatever it might be out there. And I got to tell you, it's a sad number. It's very, very few. And as many as I tell them, you need to be out there. You need to be putting your face forward, because your people will only do that which they see you doing. And you can talk about employee experience, and you can talk about customer experience, and you can talk all day long. But if you don't get out there and walk the walk and show people what you really mean and what you really do,
see you, Nick.
See you, Nick. Thanks
for joining us. Yeah. So that's my take on it.
I totally agree, Thomas. People have got to lead from the front.
Yeah, at least Tim and Adam are on social every now and then.
Well, yeah, we try
every now and then.
We got our PAs to do it, but
at least twice a week, right?
Yeah, whether we need it or not. Yeah.
Come what may.
Adam, you got anything to share on that in terms of what you've learned this week in terms of certainly your coaching?
It's. I think for everybody, this is about their own development, and you know, the way we learn anything tends to be 2 steps forward and 1 back. And even though we've learned the lesson, and the lesson has been effective. Oh, we've got a bit of an echo.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
That's better. So even though the lesson has been learned, it's been effective. You've had some success. You can look back over your behaviours previously and see that you do A and you get B, you do C and you get D, kind of thing. Still, people need to be reminded of that and have to have that laid bare to them. So people default back to old behaviours and easy behaviours. So that would be, I'm really tight for time, therefore, actually, I'm just going to reshare something else. You know, I'm going to reshare a company post, or I'm going to reshare something that I saw out there without really putting a huge amount of myself into that post that I'm putting out there. And you know, what we see is what I see with every single person that I work with, when they put themselves in, when they write the post from scratch, it's orders of magnitude, or an order of magnitude more successful than if they share something. And if they write about themselves, it's an order of magnitude more successful again. And as we've always said, you know, Tim said the other day actually about there's a big difference between social selling and trying to sell on social. And, you know, you can't sell on social. It's not what the platform is there for. It's there to have conversations. So what you want is as many opportunities to have conversations from the back of this. Like you go to a crowded networking event, you meet loads of people. That's more likely to yield success than if you go to an empty networking event where you meet 2 people. So actually you want loads of people gravitating to your post, people that you can then reach out to and strike up a conversation. And, you know, we've had a number of successes off the back of that over the last week or so, and I think that lesson is one of the things that anybody that watches this, one of the things that they need to stay focused on is the fact that you only get out what you put in. If you write something and you put a lot of effort into it, and it's really great, and you share some of yourself, and it's a difficult thing for you to write and articulate, the results speak for themselves. If you take the easy option, I've seen a good post from Eric, I'll just flip that onto my timeline because I haven't got time to write anything. You'll get nothing back. Ironically, even if Eric has done a post which has got huge traction, if I share it, no one's interested. And the reason no one's interested is that I'm the only thing that everyone in my network has in common. So they want to hear about me, ironic as that might sound.
So anybody else got anything to share?
I had
a report you wanted to talk about, Adam?
Yeah. I have a regular call with the chief exec of the Association of Professional Sales on a Monday morning. We're doing some.
I thought you were going to say McKinsey.
Well, yes, it was him that flagged me this McKinsey report, which came out recently, and it was interesting. And I use the word interesting.
There is actually a very, very pivotal section in it towards the end.
Yeah. Well, I as I was walking through this report, looking at the various charts, and you know, it's very easy to get wooed, I suppose, by the top line figures, isn't it? 3 out of 4 businesses that are successful do this. But then actually when you look at it again, you realize that 2 out of 4, half, so 3 out of 4 successful businesses do this, 2 out of 4
outperformers
don't. So, okay, so actually there's no difference between customers, organizations that do and don't behave a certain way. And it struck me that all of these things, outperformers invest 19% more in analytics and centers of excellence. Okay,
the thing is, Adam, this is a report is about sales.
Yeah.
So we're applying analytics to sales.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And outperformers commit.
Have you done any number? Yes or no? Right. Okay.
No. That's a bit flippant. We must apply analytits to sales.
No,
we must.
We must. But I think that the key thing is here that more outperformers apply analytics to sales than don't. Okay.
Shocker.
More outperformers commit to coaching, commit to more coaching than pro growers. That's not surprising.
No shit, Sherlock.
More outperformers tailor their learning programs than slow. Again, I'm not surprised at that. More outperformers use analytics for their sales planning and for their CRM system rather than
successful people are more successful than non-successful people.
Oh God, that's pretty much it. People that work harder and work smarter outperform people that don't. So what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to be a more successful salesperson. I can continue to do the things I've always done, or I can try these new things that seem to be getting more traction. One of them requires me to do the things I've always done. The other one requires me to learn something new and try that. Not surprisingly, the people that are prepared to learn something new and try that are the ones that are at the cutting edge and get first mover advantage in all of these spaces. That's not just true of sales. That's true of everything in an organization. You digitize the organization, you get success. That's not because you've bought a new marketing automation platform or a data management platform or any of these things. It's because you're trying to make your business better. And if you try to make it better, it's going to be more likely to be better. And
That's how evolution works.
I find it staggering that these large consultancies, it's not an attack on McKinsey, these large consultancies keep churning out the same stuff, which is, Tim, you worked harder at sales than you did, Thomas. Tim, you sold more stuff. There's probably a correlation between these two. Well, of course there's a correlation between these two. You went to the gym more than me, Thomas, therefore you lost more weight than me. Maybe there's a correlation. Of course, it's like work harder, you get more back. It ain't rocket science, really.
There is a paragraph.
You got a tack in your shoe. Have you stood on it? Are you okay?
There seems to be a theme. There's no question. But
there is a paragraph at the bottom, towards the end of that report, though, Adam, that actually says those organizations that used digital to sell outperformed people who didn't.
That was good. There's another line too.
That is an endorsement of social selling by McKinsey in that report.
You know what else they said, Tim, in addition to that, is they said they see remote and digital self-service channels on par with face-to-face interaction.
Yes.
Right? So those are big statements from McKinsey. So I agree with you. After you dig through all the hubris that Adam is so
you do have to page down a lot to find it, but at the bottom they're saying digital selling's the way to go, guys.
Well, by the way,
I love the fact that you have to pressure wash all of those little headlines over the graphs. You have to pressure wash them to see what's left afterwards. Top sales organizations turn outside in from aspiration to operational discipline. So people that don't just sit and think about shit and actually go and do stuff are more successful than people who just sit and go.
Yeah, because actually, Eric, that's only ever true in sales, isn't it? It's not true in any other endeavor in life. That if you sit and think about how great it would be if I got up and went to the gym, I'd be thinner than I am. Yeah,
I love it.
I would be nice.
There's a really interesting. I looked up the authors of this piece of work, and there's some really super chaps. They really are. So Boudewijn Driedonks from I'm guessing from Holland did a 2.5-year PhD at Eindhoven University of Tech on the effectiveness of purchasing organization, team effectiveness of purchasing organizations in multinational companies. My 2.5 years looking at RFQs. I'm joking.
I've spent longer than 2 years looking at RFQs.
No, but this is a PhD study, right? I'd love to see the outcome of that. That would be awesome. Wouldn't it be great if we could get Boudewijn to come on and talk about that?
Absolutely. I'll give him a call.
My take on Adam's thing is that's how evolution occurred, right? I mean, that could have been. This is how the human, the species evolved into using tools and implements. Like it got really cold and we had to find fire. It's like,
those of you that use fire are more likely to survive than
60% more likely to have hot food.
Outperforming those that don't.
Yeah.
But the fundamental problem that I see.
Those that use wheels are outperforming those that don't.
But there's this narrative which is going on in all of these reports, and my very real concern about this is that people within organizations read it and they go, yeah, we're doing that stuff.
Yes.
Because we are digitally transforming, because we've improved our email marketing package and we now have digital door cards to check people in and out of the office. And yeah, that's part of the digital transformation, but it's kind of missing the point. There's an elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room is not that you can refine your process by automating those base processes, or refine your efficiency by automating those base processes that the organization needs to do with AI and whatever to make them more streamlined. The issue is that you're not selling stuff because the way you're talking to customers is not addressing the fundamental issues, that customers are not absorbing information and forming belief systems that they should buy from you in the way that they were a decade ago. And all of these reports skirt around that. Like I said, it's the elephant in the room. And I was in a debate. I say a debate. What, of course, I mean is an argument with somebody the other day about email marketing, and they were saying, email marketing is actually really good, and it's still one of the most efficient things in the marketer's kit bag. And, Campaign Monitor said that there's a 37% open rate on emails.
Really?
But that's kind of missing the point. If I look at your email and I think, I wonder what that is, and I open it, I'm one of the 37%. In order to either A, press unsubscribe, or B, to add it to my junk folder. The really telling thing is, when I've looked at the email that you've sent me, have I clicked one of the links to go to your website to discover more? And the answer is, in over 97% of instances, the answer is no, you haven't. Now, I mean, I'm not these days what I would consider to be a modern digital marketer. However, surely a 97.5% failure rate is something fundamentally broken in the process of what you're doing.
Well, if you stood up in front of the board and said, we're going to do some marketing, they go, great. And I want some budget, and they go, great. And say, what we're going to do is going to give you a 90, what was it?
97.5% failure rate.
Round it up, 98% failure rate. Let's say, get out of here.
Round it down.
It's
bad.
Okay, 97%, get out of here.
Well, you
take 10% off. Still is bad.
Like, so you are joking. You've got what? You've got a degree in marketing, and you're going for something that's got a 97% failure rate.
This is the stuff that's killing companies. These kinds of oblique, fake statistics.
But it's similar to Adam. I laugh because I have very little. My inbox is is empty. And people will email me. They scrape the data. They're not scraping the data of LinkedIn. They'll email me, and they'll get a stat saying that I've opened it, because I click on it to right click to set a rule up. So they always, whenever they email me ever again, it will always go straight to the bin. I will never ever see an email from them again, and I do all the time. I've got over 300 email addresses because on Apple Mail you can see. And this is just a waste of people's time.
Isn't that what's keeping so many companies from actually moving forward in any significant way?
Absolutely.
On social? Because they know that the marketing stuff is crap. And can you imagine if you don't have a real solid B2B sales background, and you don't understand MQL, SQL, EBITDA, all that kind of stuff? You're just trying to get more clients and keep your clients. How are you supposed to figure this out when everybody's telling you about all these different things, and that's not how you built your business? There is a pathway. And like the quote I like is this: there are huge opportunities to change your business model in ways that don't involve completely reinventing your industry. Like, you can go to social and still be exactly who you are right now. You can just do it at scale, and you can take advantage of all the good things that are going on in your organization. You don't have to sell your soul.
Yeah, I mean, Adam often says that sales hasn't changed. You're doing what you did before 20 years ago. You're still using all of the skills that you gained in the last 20 years in terms of selling. You're just using it slightly differently. That's all.
Yeah, you're just better. Like, everybody hates bad sales. Everybody loves great sales.
Yeah. The idea of cold calling, we've been saying for ages, cold calling is dead. And cold callers say, cold calling isn't dead. No, you're missing the point. What we didn't say is the telephone is dead. The telephone is great. The telephone, would I rather have a call with you or a messaging exchange on LinkedIn? Of course, I'd rather have a call with you. Of course, I would any single day. However, if I have to phone 500 people to get 10 people to actually speak to 10 people, 8 of whom put the phone down on me, that's a week's worth of work to get 2 calls. And the chances are I could very well be in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person. If I do my prep work and my prospecting on social, I can make sure that you ask me for a call. and then it's a warm call and you're expecting it, and then I can deploy my 25 years of brilliant sales experience and turning that call into a commercial conversation. And this is the point, what people have developed, particularly salespeople, have developed this brilliance on the telephone, and what they're afraid of is that social invalidates those 25 years of expertise, and it doesn't. It allows people to deploy, a bot can dial people and get through to an answer phone. What you want is to say, you've got 25 years of telephone experience. What I'm going to do is give you a tool so you can spend more of your day talking to people and less of your time talking to voicemail. It's brilliant, but people are so scared that they're irrelevant. Marketers are scared they're irrelevant. Well, we won't be running campaigns. We won't be sending out emails to people. No, you'll be doing something different. Because if you've got all of your salespeople all out there prospecting, all of them having conversations, all of them creating and publishing content, who's going to steer that ship? It's like herding cats. You've got to make sure that these people have a coherent message, and that they're saying this, that there's a content strategy which is applied, and that you, as the messaging expert within the organization, are able to say to people, actually, Eric, you could do with a little bit of help with your writing. Have you thought about this as a technique to help unblock this, or using this kind of language, or why don't you use this? Or so there's
all these keywords, or
exactly, this is what the new role for marketing is going to be, and it's going to be more vital than ever. But those things that didn't work, like placing adverts, because I remember a few years ago now. Tim and I were talking to an organization, their senior marketers, and they wanted us to use social to extend a campaign that they were running. And they said, we've created these, we're targeting CEOs of this size of company, CEOs and managing directors of this size of company. And what we've done is we've created some different personas, and we've done microsites for each of these different personas. There's the maverick, and there's the old-fashioned person, and there's this, and there's this. We've got these different websites, and what we're going to do is we're going to drive traffic to those. And we looked at the websites, and we thought, they're really good, actually. If I was this kind of person, the imagery and the messaging be really. So how are you going to arrive those suspects at there?
And the key thing is that they were talking to non-existing clients, and it was the C-suite CEO that they were targeting.
So how are you going to drive those people there?
How are you going to drive CEOs to a website?
And the answer was banner advertising. And they were concerned that they were going to burn through the £250,000 budget that they had in the first.
So about $300,000 they reckon they were going to spend in banner advertising, sending CEOs to these sites in 3 months, a quarter.
Yeah, we said you won't spend £250,000 in 3 lifetimes, not 3 months. Because CEOs have got better, they've got a 10-minute gap between meetings. What are you going to do?
I'm going to click on some banner ads. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to click on some banner ads.
Yeah, you can just hear them thinking there, can't you? And this is the point. We've got a series of square pegs, and we're now frantically trying to hammer them into round holes because the landscape has changed. And we've got these tools that we're comfortable with that in many cases we're really good at using. And, I'm great at creating email campaigns because where you only get a 2.5% success rate, I get a 3% success rate. This is like, I believe the expression is polishing a turd, isn't it?
I had a client who gave me I started working with a client last year who had me up against an email marketing system. Yeah. Which they promptly sacked.
I was going to say, how did that work out?
They ended up sacking it because, and when I asked the internal sponsor, who was the sponsor for this and fed this program and liaised with the company and all of that, why they sacked it, his response stuck with me. I'm going to get it emblazoned across the top of my computer here.
Maybe
he said, without a doubt, we got leads. We got leads from the email marketing thing. However, they were really tenuous, really watery, and really weak. When we get a lead from social selling, it's red hot. It's red hot because it's with the target. It's with the person, and it's current, and it's today, and it's realistic and relevant. And he said, and nothing can beat that. So we're moving away from weak and watery and meaningless and really tenuous And, of course, you pay your money to the email marketing company and they're going to come back and go, hey, 45 leads, guys, this week, 45, high five, here's a check. Here's a check. Here's the invoice. 45 leads. Yeah, but hold on. But that's just a guy that went, hello, what do you want? That's not a lead.
Yeah, but that's a hot lead.
That's
a hot
really
lead.
hot.
It's down to you to convert it.
He is
Tim,
ready to buy.
I understand you've been waiting for my call, Tim. No, Adam. No, Adam from DLA. You know the company that does that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You went on our website. Oh, there was a mistake.
Hey, Tim.
Sorry. That's what it looks like, isn't it? These people have no idea who you are.
Not at all.
There's some interesting. Mike, hold on. There's an interesting research that Adam did at the client, where I can't remember the figures, but what they found was that they got through social selling, because they were able to compare social selling to cold calling, because they're kind of doing the two at the same time. With social selling, they got more high level opportunities, so you're able to sell higher within the account. And when they had those calls with those high level people, they converted more people. I can't remember, something like 25% more or something.
So at the mid level, they converted 25% to pipeline, and at the top level, they converted over 40% to pipeline.
Yeah.
And I won't talk about figures, but it was in excess of 100 times more leads generated from social selling than from marketing. And that says a lot about the landscape. It says about, and we see this, there's, 250 people follow Virgin, 12 million people follow Richard Branson. When we look at any one of us, we get more engagement on our posts than IBM get in their posts, and they've got more than 1 million followers on LinkedIn. It's like, people don't care about the brand because you know what the message is going to be. It's going to be
buy my product because it's great.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same message from every company. It doesn't matter whether you're in professional services or financial services or consulting or tech. Everybody says the same thing. And the job of marketing is to convince you that my company that's got this little red button in the corner is better than your company that's got a little blue button in the corner. And that's the important bit, is the red bit. And actually, it's all just verbiage. JD Power, with their car survey about 10 years ago now, it concluded there's no such thing as a bad car being manufactured. Now, you might say, well, a Skoda's not as good as a Ferrari, and it isn't. But a Skoda, you've got 3 feet of snow outside and you've not driven it for a month, and it'll start first time. As will every car that you buy. Fundamentally, they're all good, they're all safe, they're all economical. So it's most products are commoditized, whether or not you're talking about bank accounts or CRM systems or whatever. They're all commoditized. So the marketer's job is to take those things that are unimportant and elevate them to gargantuan proportion. So you think that's the bit that makes the difference. And it never does, ever.
Sorry, Mike. Do you want to?
I was just going to say, 5 years ago, Tim, we were on your Tim Talks talking about how to predict referrals. This is how you do it. The way that you predict referrals, whether you are a one-person shop or you're a multinational conglomerate, is you do a strategic social selling program. The bad news is most of the shit out there is awful, right? Don't buy LinkedIn training, buy social selling and influence training.
There you go. Thanks, Mike.
Great message.
Yeah. So we got two minutes left. Any final thoughts?
I'm going to play back Adam's last kind of thing. I thought it was really powerful. No, it was because it's about, what do you really want? It's not about how do we justify your position, but what does the company really want to do? And at the end of the day, why I've always loved working with salespeople is because they're held accountable for producing the number, not the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thomas.
The problem is today they're not getting the tools to do that properly in lieu of training. So it's not about buying a new CRM or a new email campaign system or a new this or a new that with respect to software. It's about training them how to be online, getting their and your message out to their contacts in the market. Boom. And until that happens, and we keep giving budget to marketing people and to sales managers who don't really know how to train their people. I love that in the report where it says sales managers that spend 50% of their time training their people get better people. That's me. My question to that is, who's training the sales manager, right? Because most of the sales managers I talk to are still scared of what to do next, and fear to me is the biggest problem today.
Marketing is
Thomas, thank you. It's why do you do these mic drop moments every single time?
Might be a blog in that, Thomas.
On that bombshell, I think we'll wrap it up for a week. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. Restream for the platform. Eric, Adam, Mike, Thomas, Lenwood, have a good holiday.
You too.
Thank you, everybody. Nick, Sam, Matt, for your comments. See you next week.
Brilliant. Thank you. Loved it.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.